I hear y'all. I'm sorry. Nature calls. Had to go potty, and it is no. I'm not futzing around there, Kathleen. Thank you for asking. Uh, you generally listen to the podcast on your drive. I appreciate that. Thank you for being on your drive, listening to our podcast. It's good to hear people actually listen to our audio podcast and don't just download it with Podcast Addict and then never listen to it. So I appreciate that. Put your bladder on. No, yeah, I have the bladder of an 80-year-old woman. No joke. My mother, every time she not the too much information, but she'd hit the bathroom. We'd drive 35 minutes to a Walmart. The minute she walked into the Walmart, she had to go to the bathroom. It was almost a psychological thing. Every time she goes into a Walmart or a Target or whatever, bathroom. I hope I don't end up, with that trait in my genetic repertoire, but we'll see what it is. Hey, Raw Code, thank you so much for coming and hanging out here. I appreciate that. We're just doing what we do here, and I'm actually lucky enough so far that all three of our streams are working today. Let me turn off the picture, the preview picture, so I'm not blowing up my my transcoding. But so YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. So it's pretty awesome. My boss is like that every 15 minutes or so. I swear, 18 years older than her, and I'm not nearly that way. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so I posted all the links onto chat. So Lady P, that means that your meetings are only going to be about 15 minutes long, right? Anything longer than that, and you're going to have to take a 5-minute bio break. So, but yeah, so we're up on the Twitters. We're not on Twitter, but we're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube, and we're on Twitch. So. So far, so good. Everything is working. I don't know what I did to, screw it up the last time with our interview with John and Jared on LinkedIn, but, everything's working well. So, how's everybody doing? Yeah, we had some flurries here earlier. Oh, sorry, wrong. I'm looking at Slack. So, we had a little bit of snow here today in the Seattle area, or at least east of Seattle. Kind of disheartening to know that it's still not springtime yet. I'm sorry, P, Lady P. I guess bathroom buddies is still a thing even in corporate America. So yeah. That would be awkward. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, no. I'm Brian. How's everybody doing? On LinkedIn. Hi, I'm Brian. I don't know how we say that in professional mode, but it is what it is. And so a lot's been happening this week. So far, it's only Tuesday. Harshly sunny and cold here. You know what? I'd give your harshly sunny and cold for my cloudy and 30. It was freaking freezing this morning. And I'm done with winter, and I want to get to San Diego. So we're gonna get through that as fast as we can, and get to summertime and enjoy ourselves some. Yeah, it was 32 here. I mean, it was about the same temperature as you. I mean, we had mid-20s a couple days ago. Mid-20s being Fahrenheit, not Celsius, for those of you. It'd be like -5 Celsius out there. So, a couple of interesting things that happened. My Harvard class starts. Oh, there we go. My Harvard class starts tomorrow, so I'll be learning about leadership principles because Harvard Online is the place to do that, I guess. So, that's going to go on for about the next 6 weeks. So I'll be splitting my time between you lovely people, work, podcast, and Harvard Business. So hopefully we'll be able to give you little bits and pieces of the class every week from those. That'll be kind of interesting to go over and kind of explain to folks. But I had another interesting item that came up, and one of the things in the stream information Eufy comes clean, which we'll talk about. I got a news story queued up for that. Oracle lost whatever part of their mind that they had, um, had left anyway. Security risk management programs, and then I hacked my Tesla. We'll talk about Tesla later. That was a very sweaty moment for me. So, I had apparently signed up a few years back. I think it was probably around the time that our own Miss Berlin was working on her book with O'Reilly, the Defensive Security Handbook. She's currently in the process of writing, version 2 of that. And I think I signed up for book reviews for O'Reilly. And up until this point, I had never been asked by anybody to do anything until Friday morning. And it was, it came in and I didn't see what it was. I actually thought it was a bit spammy, but I reread through it, and they wanted me to review the first 2 chapters of a book that is currently being written. And let me read the name of the title here. I don't know if it's got what the animal is. It's a weasel or whatever, but Miss Berlin says that for her book, they had like a list or a couple of characters or a couple of animals that you could put on there. So let me see here. There it is. It's called Building a Cybersecurity Risk Management Program. Written by a couple of people. I won't mention their names because I'm not wanting to disparage them anyway, because it's no easy feat to write a book. I know from the hours that Miss Berlin wrote on hers, it's not easy. And I give them all the props in the world for attempting to start writing a book, especially one for O'Reilly, which historically for me has always been like, I'm not influential. I just, wear people down until they bend to my will or something like that. Lady P. Through my new job, they'll pay for college, something I get to consider. Cosleen, not to derail a bit, but take advantage of the tuition assistance. Harvard Business School Online has some nice certification programs, various facets. You get what you get out of them. I mean, you're not going to get a $100,000 MBA degree, but if you already have some requisite management skills, having those on your resume, if you're trying to maybe make that next leap, probably won't hurt you. Hold on. Small camera, big browser. Oh my God, look, it worked. I actually made a scene transition without it dorking up. Harvard Business Online. Yeah. So it's this site. They do a number of different things. I've actually taken the leadership and management courses. I took the one in organizational leadership with Joshua Margolis and Anthony Mayo, and they take you through several case studies for different companies. One is an Israeli bank. I forget the name. Pepper. It's actually part of a larger bank, but it's like an online bank. Levi Strauss. They go through Levi Strauss. They do some JetBlue stuff. Not Purina, but whoever owns Blue, the dog food company, General Mills. They go through a couple of things there, and they have. It's not bad. I mean, 6 to 8 hours a week. If you can, you're going to listen to a lot of videos. You're going to listen to some CEOs and senior management. You're going to do some assignments. There's going to be some surveys, and you're going to have some feedback you're going to have to give your cohort. I had like 375 people in that class with me. And you're going to have, you're going to need to pull in some of your workmates to do a self-evaluation of yourself. And you're going to do a self-evaluation, and then you're going to be asking them also for them to do some feedback, kind of almost like the review process I have in my workplace, where it's like you're soliciting feedback on, certain questions or something. So if you do these, I'm actually starting leadership principles tomorrow. And, they talk about understanding motivational drivers, emotional intelligence, communication methods, applying and adapting leadership style to meet challenges. So it's the same two people doing the class again. They're really good. They hand off and do stuff like that. So you learn about leaders, catalyst, leaders, beacon in the previous one. So it's good stuff. Lady P, there is a couple of weeks of pre-work stuff for this next class. I will invite you to help. So yeah, you can. Sorry, Kathleen, you can take the no. But yeah, there. I'm not a sucker. Yeah, it actually skeeved me out a bit that I have to engage my work management and colleagues to get them to do this stuff. My only downside for this is, one, they also have a really crappy mobile interface for this, meaning they don't have one. It's, you go to the website that looks exactly like this and you flip your phone on the side and you watch the videos. They don't have mobile to speak of for Harvard Business Online. So if you're going to be doing any of that, just keep in mind that that is what you're gonna get. But yeah, so you're gonna learn this stuff. The classes are about $1,800 a piece, which isn't awful. You can do 3 of them for like $5,100, and that's cheaper than a SANS course. And you get a certificate if you can do the 3 of these classes in 18 months. So I'm looking to either do the 3rd one before I move from Seattle or just shortly after I come back. I was thinking about maybe power and influence for positive impact or strategy execution. They definitely are at a high level on this, and a lot of the people who are in the classes with you are in a similar position. They're somewhat senior leadership and what have you. Harvard, yes. Yeah. Well, you know what? I would expect a worse experience at MIT, to be honest, Lady P. So, again, they don't, it's not an advertisement, but it's an option for continuing education that isn't god awful expensive. If you do a SANS course for management, like Management 514, it's what, a 2 or 3 day course, and it's still about $6,000. You're going to spend a little more time watching videos and such. Answering some questions, learning a little bit about yourself, some different ways of handling things, and it's $1,700. So you do what you have. Anywho, there I am again. Okay, I didn't hit play. Man, I hope I don't have to hit play on the LinkedIn thing. That would be annoying as shite. So, sorry, that's not professional. It's annoying as shit. Anyway, so. Going back to what we were talking about with the risk management courses, these authors are writing an O'Reilly book, and I was asked by the overarching editor to review the first 2 chapters, and it's basically talking about risk, setting up a risk management course. And I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna talk about establishing these things and whatever. They got in. Yes, Kathleen, I'm a very seasoned streamer. I'm going on about a year of streaming, as a matter of fact. So the new additions, the simul streams and the triple streams, are a somewhat new thing. So normally I've just been twitching. So but so they were going through talking about establishing a program, a risk management program. And when I read it, I was like, oh, these folks are like, senior like consultants or something. They've been working at consultants for, a few years now. Some of the ideas they have are a bit out there on how you plan on doing things. They were talking about, engaging, SEC requirements. They were talking about some of the cybersecurity rules. They're changing. Apparently the SEC, there's a link here. I will post in El Chat Arena. There you go. about how they, how the SEC is going to plan on, proposed rules would require registrants to provide updates about previously reported cybersecurity incidents and periodic reports. As we heard, T-Mobile had a breach a couple of weeks ago that they disclosed in their 8K filings. Obviously, I'm guessing the SEC wants to make sure, yes, you had to announce that you had been breached in your 8K filing. Maybe you're going to have to add additional background and feedback that these are the things that we did to fix it. Trying to understand what your methodology was to fix it, to kind of give them a more trust in what you're doing. The discussions that I read and the comments that I was reading, one, I had just got done doing a 200-page specification document at my workplace, so I was in kind of a, hey, let's do some editing thing. One of the things that I really don't like about the way some people write things at my company is, often the chapters are written by different teams. It's not written with one voice. I gave a lot of good feedback like that, and I was basically told I was wasting my time. And CPRA, the California CPRA went into effect. Yeah, CPRA. What's the difference between CCPA and CPRA? Yeah. Well, there you go. Blink. But anyway, so, I don't know why, but they started talking about how everything is related to cyber, and they talked about something called digitalization, which I had to go look up, and there's no actual good name for it, which I was trying to figure out what they were talking about. So it's the way that it's described online is it's the adaptation of a system, process, etc., to be operated with the use of computers and the internet. Digitalization allowed companies to sell goods without a physical presence. The way they were using it didn't really jive with what I was expecting it to be called. They were talking about, they talked about the fourth industrial age, which is something the World Economic Fund was talking about, the fourth industrial age. It'll come up. I didn't mean the percentage digital age. Fourth industrial revolution. My bad. When I looked this up, and the first thing I saw was Salesforce, I'm like, okay, this sounds like a sales or a marketing term. And so, I'm reading through this, and, Wikipedia posts up what the fourth industrial age is. It conceptualizes rapid change to technologies, industries, societal patterns. It was popularized in 2015 by Klaus Schwab, which the book, the first two chapters, don't even give that kind of context as to where the fourth industrial revolution came from in the doc. And I was like, what's this all about? I had to go and research what the hell the fourth industrial revolution was, because it really did sound like Web 3.0 or what have you, which was automatic turnoff to me. But there's, after reading some of the background here, I decided to go figure out who these authors were. And I found out they work for one of the big four. One of them works for one of the big four. The other one said he worked for a Fortune 130 company. And I'm like, seriously, you have to say 130? And I'm assuming if I did look at the top 130 companies, one of the big four would be in that list, and probably around 130. So I'm guessing that's, number 130 or 129 is where that person works at. And so, I had issues with some of the wording. They would use words like the entire enterprise, which I was like, the entire enterprise is the enterprise. So why are you saying the entire enterprise? There's Lady P, is that like I'm like when I tell people I'm 5'11" and a quarter, I have to make sure I add that quarter because I gotta have that that hair. Otherwise, 6 foot. I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and a quarter. Okay, great. All right, fine. So yeah, they were. I mean, there was a lot to unpack in this book, and I put a lot of comments in there, and I actually reached out to Miss Berlin because I was like, hey, I replied to the lady because one of the questions was, would you recommend this book to somebody based on these two chapters? And, do you think that this book can continue on. And I had to tell the lady, in its current incarnation, no, it's kind of not good, because they started talking about, they got into this. The entire chapter 2 was all about the Boeing 737 crash. And some of the comments they made in there was like, the reason it crashed was because of digitalization and collaboration, let me read what I'm going to kind of hide this because I do not want to out them as bad. I just think that they have a really skewed issue with what they can. Wrong mouse. Sent items. So, come on. Wow, even Gmail's being slow today. What is the dilly, yo? Turn that off. There we go. Okay. So I said, I gave her a bit of my background: change management professional. I have a CISSP, a GCIH, and GWAP, Scrum Master. I'm taking courses from Harvard Business Online because I was like, I have learned many takes of approaches on management and understanding change management, how to get people in there. And I was like, I tried to come from this book as a place of a reader who wants to set up or improve their existing risk management program. Being in middle management myself, I straddle the line between working with more technical security or GRC folks and explaining risk to my senior management and CISO as part of our own risk management program. If there's a table of contents with a rough idea of the format of the book, it'd be nice to see. Because I was like, maybe it picks up after chapter 2. It's like, maybe they actually have a plan forward. But I mean, in 2 chapters, I'm looking at roughly 20% of the book at this point. And it's got like 50 pages so far. And so I said, I'm sure there's more content, but I have only 2 chapters and 10% of the book. I said, did we need 3 pages detailing what happened to Boeing? And in this case, the 737 MAX issue. And I said, and then to follow it up, other legal case studies that had nothing to do with cybersecurity. They were talking about good faith requirements in like Gerber baby food and a couple of other things. And I was like, I get it, but you didn't need 2 examples of good faith examples in here. And it was like, there was so much written about Boeing at that point. I was like, were they involved in one of the case studies of Boeing and they just didn't, want to cite that? Because that was the other thing. I was like, I don't know who you people are. So I need a citation, or, here's an example. Here's the case study that we're using to talk about this thing. There were some citations missed in this chapter. So I was like, citations, please. Or, as Joe Bob Billy, famous person, said, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, citations, please. That kind of thing. So I said the first 2 chapters bounce around between security as a cost center and, in case you didn't notice, there's no such thing as a zero risk environment. They kept going back to the zero risk environment thing. Like they had to remind people there's no such thing as a zero risk environment. And I was like, you've said it 5 times in chapter 2 and it's only 17 pages in chapter 2. So move along, that kind of thing. But writing a book is hard, and I'm not going to belabor that point. It is hard work. I don't know if it's the experience they had to draw upon and that's all they had, but there was a lot, it's really hard. And I don't know if maybe I've been poisoned by my own company's writing styles. But I found a lot of flowery language in there, a lot of LY stuff. Yes, Lady P, contrary to popular belief, there is no such thing as a zero risk environment. Yeah. The other thing that got me was I was like, I actually put the title of the person because I found them on LinkedIn, because I can do that because I know how to look people up on the internets. I said I'd expected better writing quality from somebody at a senior level like this. The sentence structure was painful in places, too many flowery words, because it would say things like, the most immediate and most immediately recognizable impact was on the global supply chain. And I was like, is it immediate and most immediately? I was like, you could just say the most recognizable impact was on the global supply chain. It's like they could have probably cut a quarter of their chapters out by getting rid of all the LY words, like, oh, this was a brutal attack on these things. I'm like, did you have to put the word brutal? It was an attack on their infrastructure, that kind of thing. So yeah, I had issues with it. So see, Lady P, I did ask that question of Miss Berlin. I was like, are they paying them by the word? She says no, they don't pay by the word. But my worry was, it was like, were they trying to fill space? It was like, we have 20 pages. Do we need to fill space? So my worry is that I've given such horrendous feedback about something that they're not going to invite me back to do this. So I haven't seen any reply from this person just yet. We'll see. I have seen that one of the authors did look at the Google Doc that I had commented on, and I really don't want to go in and look at that because I don't know what that person's going to say. The minute I saw the email saying, "Hey, the person commented on your comment," I immediately got, oh. I don't know why, but yeah, I did. So I'm really avoiding that because I don't want to go in there and find out that that person didn't like what I said, and I would feel bad. Um, anyway, I hope that if anything, they will take some of my comments to heart. I would love. I think that's like the holy grail for anybody who's in information security. It's like, I get to be a CISO. I get to build my own security program, and that's like the holy grail. I couldn't take that book with those two chapters and go and create a risk management program or security program with that. And the authors will sue you for torturous interference. That's not nice. Um, yeah, I just, yeah, it just sucks because I don't know them. Thankfully, I didn't know them. That would have been the worst thing. Would have been to find out I actually know these people, and I was just bagging on their book. Um, but yeah, I just, I think that's the holy grail, right, for most security people. And Lady P's probably done this, created a risk management program, and it's like, that's got to be like, the thing that you want to do in life. Common law tort of intellectual intentional interference with contractual relationships. Well, to be fair, Lady P, the person did ask me thumbs up or thumbs down on the on whether or not I would suggest the book or read the book if it was out. My other comment actually to O'Reilly was, is this a book that O'Reilly people read? Because for me, I've always assumed that the O'Reilly books were somewhat technical. I mean, I grew up on the Camel. I grew up on HTML book. The one with the big with the big eyes on it. I don't know of books that are being read by senior management and CISOs on how to set up a risk management program. For me, if I'm senior leadership and if I put myself into that mentality, that is something that my toadies will do, for all lack of uh, not to put too fine a word on it, I guess, but that's what that's other people's problems. I'm over here trying to keep the company afloat. The CISO and the security manager and the IT folks are going to be setting up the security and cybersecurity risk management program. Now, from a security point of view, I would be countering that by saying the CEO, the CIO, the Lady P's of the world are the ones who should be like loudly proclaiming, we're going to have a security risk management program. You better get on board because you're going to get run over otherwise. And these people have my full and unequivocal support on whatever it is that needs to be done. I want to hear that. And I did not see that kind of discussion in those first two chapters about management buy-in. I didn't even see even any part about inviting legal to the table on some of these things. All the principles that they mentioned in there were no legal unless they lumped them in with risk and or compliance. You gave up years of, don't give up, damn it, Lady P. What's up, man? But I had actually suggested bringing them on the show, but that was before I'd actually read the book, and now I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about bringing them on the show now, not at least until their book is done. So, yeah, I'm technically I can't bring them on until the book is actually done. And what I'm hoping is that they've written like chapter 1 and chapter 2 as like a proof of concept, and they'll go back and tighten it up, and then they'll come back and have more good, super fun, happy times there, Lady P. While drunk. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a danger of working in certain companies and getting institutionalized to how you think the rest of the world should be. I mean, I see that right now in my own organization. There are people that have worked there for 15 years, and they say things, and it's like, wow, you haven't been on the outside for a while, have you? And because they're just so inured to, well, that's how it works here, so that's the way it should work everywhere, or that's how it works everywhere because that's how it works here. And I was like, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, you haven't been on parole for a while, have you? Writing styles, for instance, I think in theory the way that we do writings at work is good, and maybe I channeled some of that into this, like getting rid of the flowery languages. Truthfully, though, Lady P says, how many long-term, greater than 6 months security people do you know that you don't need to be, that don't need to be institutionalized? Yeah, I don't know if it's my Navy upbringing, but about every 3 years I start getting real antsy and looking to move other places. I think CrowdStrike was the first place I'd stayed 3 years. I think Leviathan was 3.5 years. The place I'm at right now is like 2, and I'm not hating it right now. Ask me in a year, but yeah, it's like, I feel like at some point I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than in front of them. Is Lady P in Chat GPT mode? I don't know. Did you need to unflip the Chat GPT switch, or Lady P's touring complete now? So that's a nice little upgrade that she's got going forward today. But yeah, yeah. Oh wait, you can't see me anyway. So crap. There we go. But yeah, it's just one of those things, right? I'm sure everybody has their own ways of creating a risk management program, and some of the ideas they had was great. There was, talking about apparently the Securities and Exchange Commission. They were trying to say what they were trying to do in the chapter, and it was actually a good idea, was show how the SEC, which is what ultimately the C-suite cares about, are looking at things like security and disclosures, and how these things will affect them if they don't do these things correct. They did bring up the hackneyed phrase of the hacker in the basement of their mother's house, which I actually physically put in comments. Hey, get rid of that shit because it's old and busted, and the hacker in the hoodie and whatever being sitting in the parents' basement might be funny to people who aren't in information security, but it just shows how out of touch you are. And yeah, the FTC, yeah, they are scary. Yeah, because the well, both of them can involve the attorneys general, right? They can all start investigations like that. I think the FTC probably can do you more damage, though. I think you're right. FTC can affect non-publicly traded companies as well, I believe. I don't know. I assume the SEC can only come after you if you're a publicly traded organization. Companies companies today rely on digital technology. Yeah. Companies' exposure and reliance to network systems have increased. Attendant risks and frequency of cybersecurity incidents have also increased. Right. Cybersecurity incidents can result from unintentional events, deliberate attacks by insiders or third parties, including cyber criminals, competitors, nation states, and hacktivists. The FTC's professional version of the IRS. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. And they also, the other hackneyed issue I had was they, I don't like it. They do say security is a cost center. So what I was asking for the table of contents was I was trying to find out if at some point they tried to show you, and they do call out specific, uh, what was it, accounting practices that you can use, that like the AICPA, is that what it is? Yeah, that's it. So apparently they have some standards that they were going to call out in terms of something that security people can use to, um, you know, um, justify their existence. So I thought that was interesting. I'd love to see that part, like where they're showing, how maybe they have some algorithms or something that you can use to help, show that, well, we're answering tickets, or, we're adding this much value instead of being a cost center to the organization. I actually found that kind of interesting in terms of that. But yeah, so hopefully the book will get made, not without my input, however small it is, and we'll get to read about that. So, and we'll all come back one day and we'll laugh as the leopard frog or cyber risk management comes out, and we'll all get to see what that looks like. So, so yeah, the World Economic Forum has been hugely in my eyeball parts in the last couple days with that fourth industrial revolution, and yeah, talking about all kinds of stuff there. So right. Oh, that's a good point there, Lady P. Insurance is also within a cost center, but that doesn't mean the business doesn't need it. Yep. Yep. Um I wanted them to cite their sources, because if they were talking about specific like case studies for things, it would have been helpful to have that. So what's this one? Number 4. One study, 419 companies, 13 countries and regions noted 47% of data breach incidents in 2016 involved a malicious or criminal act. 25% were due to negligent employees or contractors. Wow, human factor. And 28% involved system glitches, including IT and business process failures. That's interesting. So the Ponymon report in 2017. Yeah, it's the Ponymon report. I'm surprised they didn't call out the DBIR or anything like that. So yeah, exactly. I did. I added several citations needed in that discussion, especially things like quotes and whatever. I was like, look, you're quoting a specific stat, so you got to have citations. So all right. So let's move on to Oracle. Oracle has done lost their mind. This is from the Reg, but I saw another article. Where was it? It was in, somebody had posted it up. Was it News of the Day on our Slack channel? No, that's not it. No. I think it was Series of Tubes, our good friend, Mr. The Series of Tubes. Come on. Well, okay, yeah. Home Depot shared customer data with Meta for years without consent. That was one that came up. So anyway, Oracle is changing the license for Java, and for a while there, it was a panacea, right? You could download. I used to work for a government contractor. We had licenses of Java that we were using for middleware stuff for years, and then it was like, oh, we're making too much money, or we're using this and we need to license it. Oh no, that's a lot of money. That was way back in the day, and they started paying for it then, and they figured out there's better ways of doing it than just throwing a bunch of shit into Java. And then Oracle database server at the time was based on how many CPUs your system used, which was funny. Lady P said for a while the license was vaguely understandable. They're just moving to remedy that error. Yeah, they're moving it. So the way I'm reading it, it's based on the number of employees you have in your company. I'm not sure how that works, because number of employees isn't just, oh yeah, the number of people who use Java. No. It's the number of employees in your company, right down to if you're maintenance facility people or FTEs at your company. You have to count them in your Java license. Um, and not only that, and I wish I had the article. I do believe they also have to count your contractors, which is why I said I do believe. Let me. Where is it? Shit. Yes, there it is. Okay. So IT asset management. Yes. Okay. So here's the article that I posted up to Google this morning, or to our Discord this morning. Um, as of 23 January, which was several days ago. See, I believe so. Yes, Lady P. Oracle defines an employee as your full-time, part-time, and temporary employees, and also those same categories of your agents, contractors, outsourcers, and consultants. So if you have a startup and you've got contractors working for you, and those contractors, I don't know how deep it goes. If your contractors have contractors, are you going to, I mean, who, are we going to have at one point where one company is going to end up paying a ton of money on this? So it says for some organizations, clarifying the first half of that will take some work, but the second half, the total number of employees at your third party partners who support your business is going to be easier said than done. And here's the pricing. So if you have only 1,000, up to 999, you only pay $15 a month. And I'm assuming that's per license, right? So the more you have, the cheaper it's going to be, but you're still paying. So we have to pay for the bank employees too. They act as our agent after all. I'm not your Java reseller or provider. I'm just reading what it says here. This is the one that we put into Discord today, and to be completely fair, it's from itassetmanagement.net. So, which is why I was looking for a more somewhat legit article. So they gave you a link here. Here's the global price list inside the reg. So yeah, oh, fixed. Yes. Yeah, so your receptionist and your security guard all get copies of Java. So employee for Java Universal subscriptions, 50,000 or more, pricing notes. Yeah, so if a company has an employee count of 28,000 as detailed in the employee for Java SE, blah, 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 blah. This includes 23,000 full-time, part-time, and temporary employees plus 5,000 agents, contractors, and consultants. Therefore, the price would be 28,000 times $6.575 a month times 12 months, or $2.2 million per year. And this is not the joke. This is not the joke white paper. This is their exact white paper from oracle.com. So yeah. And if you have more than 50,000 potential agents, not customers, but contractors and consultants, you have to now call them for purposes of calculating the 50,000 processor limit. They do say desktops and laptops are excluded. How kind of them. So yeah, it's interesting. It's super janky. And I think this is one of those things where it's like it's going to affect consultancies, right? Especially security consultancies that use things like Burp and Zap. I don't know if this is one of those things that I think is going to cost a lot of problems, or cause a lot of problems, not cost a lot of problems. No, we have to pay for every Brinks employee in the world because their armored car picks up our cash drops. They're acting as an agent. Yeah, Lady P, I have no idea, but I mean, this is the bullshittery that we see in 2023. I don't understand. Switch from the current Java model licensing to based on employee count will not be easy. Start by determining your applicable employee count and work out how much your Oracle Java bill will be under the new rules. Once you've picked yourself up off the floor, take a look at third-party Java alternatives, including, of course, Java, Microsoft Java. Wow. Okay. Azul and Red Hat. And I guess there's other ones. I remember Iced Tea was one of those. OpenJDK, yes, OpenJDK exists. The problem that I'm seeing, and Lady P, forgive me, I hate me some Java with the intensity of a lot of suns. And there are just some tools in our security tool chest, Zap, Burp, and nothing major, just pretty much the bedrock of AppSec testing for a lot of folks out there. They use Java. So the thing is, though, I mean, I can download Java. Do I have to pay for it? What does that look like? Can I use the existing version that I have on there? Or am I going to have to pay $15 a month for to use the Java that I have? My guess is this is going to be for companies that make stuff, like that leverage Java. In this case, it's rough. And there's always going to be, because the issue that I always had working at a contractor or not as a contractor, but working where I worked previously, was you can't easily update your Java because there's always a developer out there that's using Oracle Java-esque things. So, we can't upgrade from 1.6 Java to 1.7 Java because we're using this specific thing that's deprecated in 1.6. And, if we do that, then it's going to cause a lot of problems. This is going to cause way more problems to the bottom line. There's going to be, I'm almost assuming that there's companies out there freaking out right now, especially because this is a thing. I don't know if they get charged monthly for this, but it's today's the 31st of January. So if they get charged in February, conceivably they're going to have to be trying to figure out how many people they have in their company or contractor or whatever. What happens, it would almost behoove you to just say we have 49,999 employees and pay the $525 instead of the $15 a month cost. In hindsight, well, actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh my God, no, it is. It is actually much worse. I can't math right now, but yeah, I mean, this is going to kill startups. I mean, if they actually do the right thing and go and license the version of Javas that they have, startups can't do that. So, yeah, there you go, Lady P. You have major enterprise tools that are Java based. How many firewalls are running some kind of Java web admin thing or what have you. Some of them may be able to start using OpenJDK. Some may be able to use Iced-T. Matter of fact, OpenJDK, man, I can't talk shit. OpenJDK was the only one I remember that I never quite understood the Star Trek looking mascot guy here, but yeah, I mean, plus their site looks like it's straight out of 1990, but yeah, well, maybe it's because I'm using like de-whiteify or what have you. Yeah, so I mean, some Java developers out there may be making the jump to OpenJDK or Iced-T, or whatever, Oh, it is. Iced-T is OpenJDK. It's an integration project by Red Hat. Okay, there you go. But yeah, interesting times. Interesting times. Yeah. That's rough. So, yeah, not good times. Not good times. So, yeah, Home Depot apparently sharing customer data with Meta, which is Facebook's parent company, for years without consent. Starting in 2018, each time a customer provided Home Depot with their email address in order to receive electronic receipt, the hardware company then provided it as well as high-level details. Okay, let's not watch you, Mr. Video. About the client's in-store purchases to Meta. So they didn't tell me, hey, Bob came in, bought 500, nails. For some reason, Meta needed to know that somebody came into Home Depot on this date at this time and bought some nails. Each email address, and by email. So, brianbrake@brianbrake.com. Each email address was shared with Meta was encoded so that it cannot be read by individuals at Facebook. So, apparently that's not something you should be doing by, just randomly giving Meta your, customers' PII data, which is great. So there's more coming for that. If you want to read that, go poke at that. So, if you've gone to Home Depot in any time since 2018, you probably have had your, caulking gun reported to Meta somehow. So, especially if your email address happens to be your first and last name at gmail.com or something like that. Because then they can track you. So, he buys nails. He's also on forum websites or something like that, for which they know the email address, right? Encoded, but in a yes. Yeah, here's your email address that also matches your Facebook account. Hey, let's just throw up some ads for nails, or maybe you didn't buy the right caulking gun. Here's another caulking gun. Why am I saying caulking gun a lot? Okay. This is on the professional stream on LinkedIn, by the way. Yeah, it's good times. Good times. Oh God. Why did the bot not hit that one, Ms. Moderator? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's spicy there, Lady P. Oh my goodness. I'm blushing. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So good times there. I feel like Pee-wee's Playhouse right now. Somebody says the word cock, scream real loud. That kind of thing. So, oh man. Okay. I'm glad it's just you and me here on the stream there, Lady P. Nobody else is on, listening to this fun times. We'll have to have today's secret word. I think we'll have to do that. They were using it for loss prevention. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I could definitely see things like inventory control, but I don't I mean, selling it to Meta. What makes me wonder is why they chose Meta of all of them. Is it because there's a certain profile of people that go to Home Depot? Are the people who go to Home Depot more likely to have Facebook or use Meta in some way, shape, or form? Did they think that, well, we're gonna be, obviously it was to sell advertising or to gather information for Facebook on behavioral trends or something like that, to be able to, hey, you're at Home Depot, you must be doing some gardening or you must be doing some home improvement. So here's some other ideas. Here's some Facebook groups on home improvement that you might enjoy. Most of the people in my local Home Depot probably type with their foreheads. What, you mean like this? There's got to be a joke there. I think, yes. So I'm gonna let that one go. I guess I do type with my forehead. Anyway, so not the sharpest tools in the garden section. I hear you. Okay. So I don't own one of these. I like the Anchor stuff. As a matter of fact, I have quite a few Anchor things here. Oh, can't unplug that one. So, I have, Anchor devices. I have, I like Anchor for the most part. Well, obviously, some things at Anchor have horrible privacy issues. Yes. Case in point, They have a camera system. I think they probably bought Eufy. I don't think they made it themselves. If they did, then I'm not surprised by that. But so they said it was impossible. So there's another article here. Anchor's Eufy lied to us about security of its security cameras. Despite claims of using only local storage with its security cameras, it was caught uploading identifiable footage to the cloud. And it's even possible to view the camera streams using VLC. That's because there's a web server running on the box. So yes. Yeah, I have a phone charger or two from them. They have a commitment to privacy, supposedly. I wonder if they've changed their privacy statement because it says your data will never leave the safety of your home. Oh, good Lord. Okay. So you can imagine our surprise when you can stream video from a camera from the other side of the country with no encryption at all. All right, so I think The Verge was the ones who first put this out, talking about how it's not encrypted, even though their privacy commitment says they have end-to-end encryption. That's interesting. I mean, this is not the first company that has been, I don't want to say blamed, but has suggested they do end-to-end encryption when they in fact don't. I think Zoom was another one where Zoom claimed end-to-end. Yeah. So, I mean, they paid $85 million in a court of law for lying about encryption and sending data. Let me see. I think this is, nope, actually, I think, yeah. So the FTC, hey, Lady P, there's your FTC for you. This was in 2021. Well, the article was written in 2021. Claimed it offered end-to-end encryption in its June 2016 and 2017 HIPAA guidelines, because obviously people are, telemedicine. So you call up your doctor on a Zoom and you're expecting some kind of encryption because it's HIPAA compliant. They probably announced that as part of their HIPAA or high trust requirements. They also put it in a 2019 white paper and a blog post and in direct responses from inquiries to customers and potential customers. But in reality, they did not provide end-to-end encryption. So this is much the same thing. Maybe this is like the zero trust of security, where we have zero trust, we implement zero trust, we implement end-to-end. Oh, they use military grade encryption. Oh, there you go. Military grade encryption. So they did finally come clean, I guess, and say they admit that their cameras weren't always encrypted and promises to do better. So it worked. Anchor's finally admitted its security cameras were not natively end-to-end encrypted. They can and did produce unencrypted video streams for the web portal, like the ones we accessed from across the United States with an ordinary media player. Anchor says it's been fixed. Every video stream request originating from the web portal will now be end-to-end encrypted, like they are with Eufy's app. Okay, so apparently if you use the app, they were encrypted, but if you didn't use the app, they weren't. That's what The Verge is making it sound like. It's updating every single Eufy camera to use WebRTC. Is the bigger issue, in my opinion, is when they push all the video to their cloud, whether you agree to it or not. You can specifically disagree, and they do it anyway. Yeah, I think they did call that out in this article, I think, right? Oh, no, they covered its tracks and deflected while ignoring emails. I think we just talked about that, right? Lady P, you just mentioned it, but I think they had mentioned it here too. So there's different. I don't know enough about WebRTC. I'd probably have to do some research on it. The biggest thing I'd always heard about WebRTC was that it would leak IP addresses if not implemented correctly. It says, reading between the lines, though, it seems these cameras could still produce unencrypted footage upon request. That's not all they're disclosing today. The company has apologized for lack of communication and promised to do better. Okay, whatever. Confirming it's bringing in outside security and penetration testing. Okay, whatever. So this is the 10% bump in stock that we are expecting from Anchor or their parent company, because we fucked up. We'll do better. We're really sorry. Your security and privacy are important to us, even though we deflected like motherfuckers for months. That's the professional stream on LinkedIn, by the way. Those independent audits and reports will be critical to regain trust. Yeah, people don't care. Because of how the company has handled findings of security. Yeah, whatever. That was the other big thing in that book about risk management. It was like they actually mentioned brand damage and reputation damage in the book as being drivers for risk management. Now, I actually put in the comments, I was like, brand and reputation damage are a fallacy. It no longer is a thing. Move along. So, yeah, so here's their head of global communications. So this is their head marketing guy or PR weasel. Today, there are two primary ways to view live streams. Some security person probably wrote this for him. Use of the security app, and the others to use our secure web portal. Here's how many times are they going to say secure or security in this? Start drinking, folks. Start drinking. After logging into our secure web portal, a registered user could enter debug mode, use the web browser's dev tool to locate the live stream, and then play or share the link with someone else to play outside of our secure system. However, that would have been the user's choice to share that link, and they would have needed to first log into the Eufy portal to get this link. Current WebRTC has some IP leakage protections. Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, see, the last time I remember WebRTC kind of being a thing, it was the IP leakage issues, but it sounds like they may have fixed that according to Lady P. So okay, so I hate that they have a point here, but it was security by obscurity. The web link was open and available only after somebody logged into their account and figured out what it was. I mean, ideally what I'm hoping is when I log in, Brian Break, my password to the Eufy website, the link that you can get by, viewing source on that would be some kind of randomly generated URL link, kind of like how LinkedIn does their LinkedIn Live stuff. Every time I go in, I generate a new link, new Azure link. It looks like a big long hash .azure something something something. That may be similar. So, so the video content stream content is encrypted, means that these video streams can no longer be played on third-party players such as VLC. Okay. Yes, that's absolutely right, Lady P. New mom shares link with grandma. Grandma gets compromised, and now that link is on Pastebin. I agree that is a thing that can happen. New mom sharing a link to the video feed. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought about getting an indoor camera because we're about to go on travel and stuff. In the nursery, I mean, there's definitely some issues there. I mean, they wouldn't be the first camera company that, or IP baby monitor system that hasn't secured their systems before. But what it sounds like is they had a secure website. You log in, then you get the link that you can share that was either HTTP or what have you, and it was random. It wouldn't have taken much time for somebody doing some real research on this to buy their own camera, have their own account, and understand, how that's generated. If it's a long enough hash, potentially, now you've got creepo McCreepface creeping on your kids. Yep, that is a fair point. I mean, it would. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would depend on how long those, if those links are static and they never change, or if they were randomly generated over time and that one worked for 20 minutes and it was done or something. I would hope that there's other controls in place other than just, here's the HTTP link that works forever and ever, and you can view that stuff. So Uh, concerning the PR representative who answered your question about using VLC, they conflated the question. Ooh, so he's hanging his PR people out to dry. This is a known issue, easily replicated and been reported by the media. However, they thought you were asking if people other than the registered user could discover links on their own and then view them through the third-party media player like VLC. The dynamic naming convention of the video links was also addressed in the media coverage, so I can see how this confused you. This was not the official answer from the product teams. The real answer has been addressed above. Okay, so they did have it was a dynamic naming convention. Ideally, hopefully, like they're using an MD5 hash or something like that, or, whatever. Or maybe not an MD5 hash, but they're using some kind of value that is random enough that it can't easily be discerned. So I returned it. One in about 15 minutes because it was pushing crap tons of data to an outside IP. I didn't approve the cloud stuff. Didn't even need to know what the content was. I think that's the draw of IoT, right? They, in the IoT, if it does, I mean, they can't call it IoT if it doesn't connect to the internet, right? If it just connects to your home network and then dumps something to a server, which is what I think a lot of us security people would find ideal, it would be great. But it's when they're not developing stuff for security people. They're developing stuff for new mom who wants grandma to be able to see their brand new baby halfway across the country by going to a website with a link. We are not who IoT is for. Security people, I mean. An internet is a network of networks. The internet is an network of networks. How deep do you want to go? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I yeah. I mean, an internet. If you don't share that data, I'm trying to put this into words. It's like without IoT, they have nothing to sell once they've sold it, right? If they can get you to exfil your video feeds up to the neighbor's app or some social network because it's funny to see your neighbors slip and bust their ass on the ice, or if they can look through the video and notice that there's cars in the area, or they can tell what kind of car you drive. If something bad happens and you're at home or you're not at home, and somebody knocked on my door or rang the doorbell that I have when I was in Dallas, and I got the alert on my phone. I actually felt weird about wanting to reply to the person. I could see them on the camera, and it was our next door neighbor. I was sitting in the Dallas airport. Was it Dallas? Maybe it was. Yeah. And I was looking at the camera, and it was everything I could do. I couldn't bring myself to going, "Hi, I'm watching you from 1,800 miles away." I didn't want somebody to know that I wasn't at home. It was really weird for me, and it felt like letting somebody know that we weren't at home was actually worse than just watching the person, waiting for me to open a door and I wasn't there. Yeah, I don't know. We are not, security people are not who IoT was designed for. We are definitely an edge case. I mean, we're definitely an edge case. It's too much of a pain in the ass for Joe average user to stand up a server, route that traffic to whatever it is computer that they've got in their house. They don't want to do that. They want it in a nice, safe, easy place that they feel like they can trust. And that's uploading it to the cloud, which is the computer that they don't have to manage. And they have to trust that the companies who take that information will do the right thing with it. So yeah, consumer privacy. Wow, this was a hell of a response. That was That was a long ass response. Previously, we had one device that sent an image of the user to our secure cloud. There's a lot of speculation and misinformation. Explain how incongruent process came about. Sending a user image from the Eufy app to our devices to give facial recognition software a baseline to run its algorithm. Oof, that's not good. A copy of setup images was stored using end-to-end for our secure cloud. Okay, drink. The reason for this was the user decided to replace video doorbell dual or add an additional doorbell dual to their Eufy security system. The system would pull the existing image from the cloud during setup rather than making the user take a new image. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a hot mess, and IoT is security for normal people. But, if you have a home lab and you want an offline system, there currently isn't one to do that. Or there is one to do that, but it probably costs a lot of money, and it's not a Ring, or it's not a Eufy in this case. Yeah. It's, I was looking at appliances for our new house in San Diego, and it's getting harder and harder to find a dishwasher that doesn't want to be connected to your home internet. And so, yeah, I don't know what all that's going to look like, but maybe that, every once in a while I'll have to upload, I'll have to connect my IoT network, which doesn't connect to anything, to the internet so that I can, download updates every, day and a half or two. So yeah, you can go read that. That's the Anchor Eufy stuff. If I haven't posted that up in here. My wife is at home and I want to go say hello to her. So I think I'm going to end this a little early today. We did 3 days last week. That interview with John and them is going to come out on the audio podcast probably this weekend. I'll be back on Friday for Golang. And yeah, I'm going to go say hello to my wife because I love her, and she went into work today, which was interesting. I hacked my Tesla. So, quick story. I needed to put CCS charging on my Tesla. And I say need because I wanted to. Charging. My Tesla is a 2018, before all this crazy shit with Elon. I don't have the money to, drop another large amount of money on a car. So we're going to limp along with this one until some cheaper EVs come along that give me 350 miles of range. So I had been doing some reading and video watching online on how to, retrofit your Tesla, and working through some of the issues with that, and, understanding how to, sorry. So, you're getting back in here, I bought this white box and this set of wires. It's actually a nicer wire system than this. This is an older version of this, but I had the CCS adapter already. And so he, goes through and he's, setting everything up. So yeah, so the software update is in the system here. This isn't too old. Yep. So you go in and you disconnect the battery from the front of the car. You lift up the back seat, and you unplug the adapter here, which I did that. Now the car's completely dead, and they want you to keep your doors open because obviously if you shut your doors, you'd have been able to not get in the car and fix it. So now you're swapping out the ECU. So I had to pull all this shit out. Oh, the orange stuff is in there in that panel. That is as tight as you see it right there. So I had to replace all of this. That's a 10 millimeter bolt that you needed to, unscrew that off of there. And there's a couple of white little things in there that you got to slide the adapter across to pull it out. So what I was doing at this point with the wiring harness was, as I was pulling those connectors out, I was putting it into the new one. And the bundle of wires you replace it with actually goes in, the other adapter. So anyways, I put all this in, got back into my car. I was running updates. The problem was I had an actual OTA update available. I had deferred it for too long and it wouldn't work. So I had to do some more work because I was getting those error messages it was talking about, and found out that you can get into the service UI on my machine um, by using a password that you would use if you're going into service the car. So I found the password to service the car, and you can find out how to get into the service UI from there. But yeah, so I hooked all this shit back up and I ran my update. I had to reinstall the OS basically, and it worked. It was great. The only issue now I have is that the app tells me that there's an update that exists for the car that doesn't exist. It said that there was a version that is actually supposed to be installed on the car, but my car actually exceeds the version that the app says. So I've got some recall work coming on Thursday, so I'm going to see if the technician won't help me clear that issue on my mobile device. This didn't happen. This is why I was like, oh crap, this didn't work. But yeah, all of this stuff happened and it worked really well. I just haven't had a chance to test the CCS stuff yet. So maybe I'll get to do that tomorrow night when we go to CSEC East, which is at Black Lodge. So, but yeah, just sitting in my car waiting for this to happen freaked me out because I was like, I was like sweating in odd and uncomfortable places. And yeah, but so far it worked. Everything got cleared out, and yeah, it seems to work. So yeah, so that's, it was nice to see, CCS support enabled on my 2018 vehicle, and yeah, good times. So that was the most expensive thing I've ever hacked. So, and it was only because I did all that stuff. So an electric kiln, yeah. No, actually the wiring harnesses from Falcon 4 and them actually worked out pretty well. So so far it hasn't burned my house down. And I think the ECU isn't the battery itself. I think it just denotes how fast the charging can work on that, and it has the protocols for the various charging mechanisms. Like right now, I can use a CHAdeMO adapter, I can use the J1772 adapter, and I can use the Tesla adapter. Just can't use CCS. And well, now I can because I have an adapter for it and everything. But there's a lot more CCS adapters out there than Tesla adapters. So working, having that ability or that capability is going to be something that's going to be good. So anyway, I'm going to go say hello to my wife, and I think I can smell dinner cooking. So I'm going to go. I'll see y'all on Friday. Hope you have a good day. Take care of yourselves, because as we're fond of saying here, you're the only you have. And we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.